Okay, one sec. I'm sharing my screen. So yesterday we were talking about shared responsibility, right? One sec. Can you able to see my screen?
No, sir.
No,
Okay,
sir.
okay. How is it? Yeah, I'm sharing entire screen.
Yes, it's visible.
Can you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So yesterday we were talking about cloud computing deployment models. Then also we talked about service models. Then also we talked about share responsibility. This is the share responsibility. Yesterday, this is a diagram what we talked about. And then this is a new diagram. I got it from the Amazon Web Services. So here, so this is the Amazon Web Services documentation. So you can always refer Amazon Web Services documentation. Just type it this AWS documentation. Okay, and then you'll reach to that particular page. So refer the documentation. Basically, it has a lot of documentation on EC2, S3, DynamoDB, RDS, Lambda. We definitely will look into this, but before that, share responsibility, that is what is important, and I'm going to talk a bit on that. Okay, so basically two things are there. One is a customer, another is a AWS. So as we know that AWS is a cloud service provider, so hardware and then global infrastructure basically is the responsibility of AWS. Managing the regions, availability zones. I will tell you what is that. So don't not to worry about that. Edge locations. Okay. Compute, storage, database, networking. Very importantly, for customer, what customer has to manage is the customer data, right? Then some more are there, like access management. That means infrastructure, identity and access management, IAM. Then also you need to manage the endpoints. Endpoint, that means whatever application you're developing in, uh, how the people are accessing that application. So that is also you need to manage it. So a couple of things you need to manage it very importantly. About the AWS, in briefly, I will take you through this. So hardware, definitely, yes. So hardware, AWS has to manage. And then there is a concept called as the global infrastructure. So what it does it, so in the global infrastructure, they have their uh, data center. Okay, they have their data center somewhere in the earth. We have here in Mumbai and as well as in the Hyderabad. Okay, so in the data center, so one of the region is Mumbai, another is the region of Hyderabad. Okay, in India. Similarly, they have a lot of. Okay, uh, approximately 130. They have 60 plus region they have, and approximately 130 ability zones they have. What do you mean by region? So in a geography like India, they have two regions. One is Mumbai and another is Hyderabad. Similarly, for Europe, maybe for UK, US, so many other countries, they have their regions basically for managing the data center. And what is a ability zone? Ability zone is something like uh, within the within the region, they have managed this data center in the ability zones. Okay. So in the region, they have maybe one or more than one availability zones. Okay. I will tell you what is that availability zone. And in the edge location, basically is a you are managing your CDN, content delivery network. Okay. So maybe for documentation or documents, images, static data, basically, you can cache it where you can send that to the customer very easily. Okay. Apart from that, compute is virtual machine. You can say storage. Storage is where you're keeping your data. So this storage basically is a unstructured data, whereas this storage database is a structured data. You know structured data, right, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So what is the structured data? So you're managing that in a relational databases, right? So maybe Oracle, maybe MySQL, or maybe SQL Server, so many things. And then networking. Networking comes with a network plus some more components such as load balancers, maybe, or firewall. So networking comes under that. And then customer is basically where you are managing your data. And this is your responsibility to take the backup, to replicate, okay? And then which data will go in which category, that is what you need to work in, okay? So this is the share responsibility. So this is a very important slide, guys. So just trying to understand any questions, any issue, anything you want to know about this, basically. Guys, who are there?
No, sir.
Aishwarya, Utkasha, Kamlesh, Sandesh, Sakshi. No. Okay. Now, when you configure, I'll take one of the scenario. Okay. Now you are going for a EC2. EC2 basically Elastic Cloud Compute. Okay. That is a EC2. In that service, you are creating virtual machine for yourself. Okay. Also, you can create so many things actually. You can create IP, you can create networking, you can create a test. So many things you can create. How about operating system? Whose responsibility is the operating system? Tell me. You have a diagram in front of you.
Customer.
Customer, correct. So customer will select appropriate operating system. Okay. What AWS will do, they will have images. And from that images, you're going to create a operating system for your EC2 instances. Okay. Also networking, firewall configuration, everything you will manage it. Suppose tomorrow for that operating system, you need to have a patches, security patches maybe, or upgrades maybe. So who is responsibility of that?
Software.
Guys, quickly. Aishwarya, Utkasha, Kamlesh, Sandesh, Sakshi, tell me. So suppose tomorrow for that operating system, there is a requirement of upgrade or patches or security
Sir,
patches. Whose responsibility of that?
AWS responsibility.
Like,
AWS.
I think it will depend. Like, if you want to upgrade or not, it depends on us.
No, I need to upgrade.
Oh,
I
then
need to
then
upgrade.
AWS.
Okay, okay. I will make it that simplified. So we have service models, right? So we have seen the three service models: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and then software as a service. Okay. So if you are purchasing a service from AWS as a infrastructure as a service, then it's our responsibility. If you are going with the platform and the software as a service, then it's a AWS responsibility. Okay. Because what you are purchasing in, you are purchasing basically a platform as a service. In that, everything is managed by the AWS. Okay. And then for a software as a service, again, everything is managed by the AWS. For only platform as a service, you have the like runtime is installed, so you need to develop an application. Whereas in a software as a service, application is already developed. You need to configure that. Okay, fair enough. So next, going to the next part. Before going into the next part, there is a question asked in a WhatsApp. Okay, have you seen the WhatsApp, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So I guess Junaid is not there. So Junaid asked a question that what he is asking. Let me check.
He is comfortable with Hindi.
Yeah. So he's saying I'm comfortable with Hindi language. Yes, I can do that as well. But just wanted to have a understanding from you all guys because it is not this explicit session only for Junaid. It is for everyone, right? So tell me, guys, which language you are comfortable?
So both are comfortable.
No, you need to
Yeah.
tell me, na? One. I can't take both of. Right? So you need to tell me the one language which I can talk on. Junaid is not there, right? Yeah, he is not there, right? He has not joined today, maybe. So English is fine or Hindi is fine? What?
Yeah, English is fine, sir.
English is fine. Okay, fair enough. Let the Junaid join. He has not joined till the time. Okay. Now the question is, do you use the cloud? So in this image, so many services are there, right? So what are the services you guys are using in? Tell me. In this, you are using Dropbox. Are you using Dropbox or OneDrive?
Dropbox. YouTube.
Huh? Pardon?
Yes, sir. We are using Dropbox, YouTube,
Drop mail
YouTube
Gmail.
you're using, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
Then you're using Amazon.
Yes.
Amazon, basically this Amazon is Amazon.com.
Yes.
LinkedIn, okay. Twitter,
yes, sir.
Yes.
yeah.
Email.
Gmail, Yahoo,
Yeah.
No, Yahoo no.
Facebook,
No, sir.
Yes.
Netflix.
Yes.
Yes.
So basically, what I want to emphasize is that in this, not only this, but apart from that, most of the time, big big companies are using cloud. Underlying infrastructure is from the cloud. Why? Because it is cheaper. Like most of the Microsoft sites are on the cloud. They're Azure cloud. So that way they are managing it. So cloud is heavily used basically, but you don't know most of the time. Gmail or maybe some other services, even the Netflix, right? I guess this is Amazon Prime, maybe. I don't know. What is this icon is, guys? This icon?
It's the product buying.
Voice is very feeble. Can you talk loudly? Guys, who's talking? What this image is? Is it Amazon.com or it's Amazon Prime?
Sir, Amazon.com.
It's Amazon. Okay. I'm not familiar, maybe. Let me check. Okay, anyway. Going to the next slide. So I was talking about the cloud security and compliances. Okay. So cloud, when we talk about the cloud security, so most of the time the cloud security is responsibility with the cloud service provider. Okay. So and then there is a different sections basically. So it is spread across the data center, network, application, database, and compliances. When we talk about the data center level security, that time it's completely responsibility of cloud service provider. And what kind of data center security requiring? So first of all, there is a two kind of security requirement. One is the standards, another is compliances. Okay. So first we'll talk about the standard. So what is this ISO standard? Okay. So this is ISO 2000. Okay, let us try to look into that. So 27,001 basically is what? So they are talking that information security and cyber security. That is a kind of standard they are looking at. The world's best known standard for information security management system, something, something, something. And that this is what. Can you able to see my screen, guys?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So standard created by International Organization of Standardization, ISO. Okay. So just have a look into it. So maybe I can give more detail about this. But yes, so cloud service providers has a standard of 27,001. Similarly, for the 27,017, 27,701, SOC 123. See, this is a technical jargons, but you should look into it. Then SAS 70 type 2 audits. So what you can do, just go to the this, and then maybe you can type it security and compliances. So there is a one page basically. So on compliances and security, see, this is what is there. 9,001 is for the quality, I guess. So let me check that. Quality, yes. So 9,001 is the quality management systems. Okay, so many standards they have basically. SOC 1 and SOC 2, SOC 3, ISO 27018, 17. So when this is important, when you are proposing your solution, AWS-based solution to the customer, your customer basically, that time you can specify that AWS has this kind of standard available. So your application will be hosted in a secure place. So that is what you can work on. So you can look into this page maybe. On a compliances. So on a compliances, again, compliances are very important. Let me take you to the compliances. Compliances. Something is there, compliances. Okay, so when you host your application, maybe banking application or maybe hospital specific applications or maybe some insurance company application, that time compliances are required. Your data, we need to ensure that data is secured and with the compliances. Okay, so there is a multiple compliances. For an example, PCI DSS compliances, HIPAA high-tech compliances. This is specifically for hospitals. This is specifically for your card, debit card or credit card data. Okay, then FedRep is GDPR is specific to the UK. Okay, so this is some of the compliances that your AWS is fulfilling. So we should be understand that this is very important. So this data center security standard and then compliances basically is with respect to the AWS as a cloud service provider. When we talk about the networking basically is a different networking is a network component as well as for the firewall, some security group and SSL. Okay. So for the firewall, basically to ensure that traffic is regularized, basically, or you can restrict the traffic, basically. Okay, so that is what you can ensure it. Security group, you can ensure that only certain ports are exposed in as an inbound and outbound. So security group is meant for that. Firewall, as I said, restricting the traffic. SSL, your data will travel across the network some encrypted format, 128-bit encryption or something. So SSL for that. So SSL, you know, right, guys? When you type HTTPS, SSL is attached automatically, right? Then comes the application. So this is a data center. This is a network. Network, you need to configure it. Application, when you write an application, that time, what kind of precaution or security measures you can take it. So security component is a DDoS. Have you heard about DDoS, guys?
No, sir.
Yes, no.
This operating system like is that.
Hmm? No, I didn't get you. Who is there?
Sandesh sir, disk operating system like that I heard about. DOS.
No, 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 no. DDoS is something different.
Okay.
DDoS is distributed denial of services.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, what is a distributed denial of services? Suppose your machine is working somewhere and there is a lot of requests coming in. In that case, your server will collapse. Server will not able to fulfill all the requests. Okay. So in that case, this and then this request basically is machine generated. Most of the time, automatic. So that's the reason you've seen that I'm not robot or something like that many times, right? In some of the web applications. Have you seen that, guys? Yes,
Yes,
no.
that
Yes.
yes.
So when you see that I'm not a robot, that time some puzzle comes in and you need to solve that puzzles because only human mind can solve that puzzle, not the automated request that is coming on some of the softwares. They will not able to solve that. So basically that is what the thing is. Okay. So basically DDoS is a distributed denial of service. That means a lot of requests comes in. So there is a component basically which stop that. If the request coming from the same IP, it will stop that. Okay. So this is a kind of security component you can put it in an application. Then security component for the OAPs. OAPs basically is Open Web Application Security Projects Guidelines. Okay, they publish every 4 years. They publish top 10 vulnerabilities for specifically for the application. You guys should check this on your browser. What is OAPs? Just try reading it. Next session, I will ask this. So basically, OAPs is top 10 security vulnerabilities. For an example, SQL injection or cross-site scripting or something like that. So this is what they are publishing, and then in the application, we need to take care of that. Okay. Then something CAPTCHA. Have you heard about CAPTCHA?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Sir.
Yes. Okay. Basically, CAPTCHA is a system where you need to enter something cryptic words that is displayed on the screen. You need to enter that, and then you need to go forward. Otherwise, they will not take you to the next page. So CAPTCHA system is that. Coming to the database. So again, in the database, we have firewall security group. So that is implemented for restricting the traffic, access control for restricted data, and data encryption. Okay, so you can encrypt the data. So when others are entering into the database, they can able to see that. That is what. So for the database, we are talking data. So this is a network basically. So data in transit, it should be secured, and data at rest, it should be secured. So both the things are we are securing them. And for compliances, as I said some time back, financial compliances, healthcare, privacy, this is a certificate basically from security certificate for of cloud security. So this is basically implemented in your AWS already. So you don't have to do this again and again, but configuration is very important from your side. Okay, going to the next slide. So any questions on this basically on security? Security is a very important, guys, when you're working on a AWS or any cloud service provider.
No questions.
No question? Okay, going to the next slide. So we did talk a lot basically on infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and then software as a service. Okay. Now this is a specific slide for a software as a service. Infrastructure service, when we talk about networking, CPU, storage, memory. So that is when we purchase this, when we rent this, basically that time infrastructure as a service, because we need to have a control basically for a application and then underlying hardware. So we need to have a control of that. So that time infrastructure as a service. Then comes the platform as a service. So platform as a service, infrastructure is already there, part of that. Above and all, your operating system, patches, your databases, implementation, messaging system, so many things basically. Even the runtime environment, that is also part of that. Okay, what do you mean by runtime environment? So when you are using maybe .NET, that time CLR, common language runtime, so that is there. Or maybe when you are using JVM, so for JVM, what is the runtime? Java. Java is a language and the JVM is a runtime basically. Okay, right? Correct now, guys?
Yes.
Yes,
Maybe
sir.
I'm missing, right? What is the runtime for Java? Java, what is the runtime?
JRE.
JRE, correct. Yes, JRE. JRE is a Java runtime environment. Is a software that Java programs requires to run correctly. Okay, so JRE basically. So JRE is installed in your system, and then what you need to do? You need to just develop an application and deploy that in a cloud. So that is what you need to do. Okay, but as far as software as a service concerned, okay, so software as a service, that means everything is installed. Your application, you don't have to develop it. Everything is there available. You need to start configuring and start using it. So the good example, as I said yesterday, was Gmail maybe, or Office 365, some of the CRM application, some ERP application which is hosted in the cloud. Which company are using it? So that is what important is. Let me check some of the popular SaaS services. So popular SaaS services. Okay. So when I typed on the Google, okay, same thing I will type it here also. Okay, so you can see my screen, right? Popular
Yes.
SaaS services. Okay. So when we type this popular SaaS services, one of them is Google, HubSpot, Microsoft. What is there in Microsoft? I don't know. Okay. Then Salesforce. Yesterday we did talk about the Salesforce. Basically, Salesforce is a CRM application which you can configure for your customers. Zoom, Atlassian, Stack, Adobe, Dropbox. So these are the popular SaaS services. 10 extraordinary SaaS applications. Salesforce is very popular. Zendesk, I don't know. Zoom. Zoom basically is your video conferencing software. Dropbox, G Suite. Okay. Anyway, so we know a little bit about this different software as a service. Okay. So Office 365 is one of them. So what is the features basically software as a service has? One is a multi-tenancy. That means multiple tenant can come together, and then data isolation, data privacy can be maintained. Okay. So that is a multi-tenancy. So think of that. This is a single tenant. So one tenant accessing the one application and then database is maintained. This is how it goes for the single tenant. But whereas the multi-tenant, it's a single application where multiple tenants are managing and multiple databases underlying. Okay, so application is one, but the tenants are more than one or two, and then database also more than that. In that, the another factor feature is security and the privacy. Okay, then third one is the personalization. Personalization, that means branding. You can have your own themes. You can have your own branding. So you can. This is a personalization subscription basically. So for the software as a service, somebody has to come and they need to subscribe it. So they need to pay money basically for the subscription. Okay, then only you will get the access. Then the onboarding of that tenant will happen. Otherwise, not. Okay, and then metering. Metering, that means whatever you are using in, it get metered. Okay, it calculated whatever services you are leveraging in, or maybe you're using it. So it get metered. Okay, and then last is a billing. That every month they will bill you, and you need to pay for that. So I guess some couple of days back we did talk about the mobile service, right? So think of that only, very similar to that. You are subscribing for services, then whatever services or plan you are selecting in, it get meters for the month. It checks that you are within the limit, and then billing. Every month you need to bill for that. So that is very similar to the mobile company. So software as a service. And then authentication, authorization. So when you log into the application, you need to authenticate yourself. And then authorization is something, what is the modules you are accessible. So authorization is for that. Then personalization, as I think we have talked, subscription, you need to get in, you need to onboard for that particular services, metering and billing and data security. So this is the software as a service. When you develop a software as a service for different vendors, this feature should be there available. Otherwise, your application will not be a SaaS enabled. Moving to the next slide. So next slide, yes. So now this slide is talking about the multi-cloud strategy. You know different clouds, right? One is AWS, another is these are the popular basically, AWS, Azure, and then GCP. They are very much popular. So for this popular cloud, so many times very big organizations are going with a multi-cloud strategy. So they are not satisfied with the one cloud, but they are going with a different cloud. So they may have, as I said in the, it is there in the diagram. So they may go with the AWS, or they can go with the Azure. They will go with the private cloud. They will go with the Google Cloud Platform, any cloud. So when we talk about the definition of multi-cloud strategy, so multi-cloud is a practice of using more than one cloud platform in your cloud approach. So multi-cloud infrastructure allows organization to maintain a hybrid cloud environment that enables a combination of security and cost savings at the same time. So suppose some services are cheaper in AWS. So that time I will go with the AWS. But some of the services are cheaper in Azure. So I will go with the Azure for that matter. I will keep that. Or rather for availability, I will have workload maybe for AWS, and some workload I will be having on Azure to maintain the availability. That is also possible. Okay, so let us try to check it out, the benefit of the multi-cloud strategy. So first is operate anywhere. Okay, you know that AWS has their data center across the globe. Similarly for the Azure, we have one slide actually for each of this. Yes, so basically for AWS, we have 33 plus regions and 105 actually ability zones we have. So AWS has 33 plus regions available. For Microsoft Azure, it's 60 plus regions we have. And then for GCP, we have 36 plus regions, basically. So what I'm saying is, so basically operate anywhere. So when you selecting AWS, Azure, and GCP anytime, so you can operate this cloud service providers from anywhere. Leveraging the investment, that means whatever investment you are doing, you are taking benefit of that. Okay, so best of the best you are getting in. For AWS, what is the best? You are getting that. For Microsoft Azure, what is the best? You are getting that. So all the services, all the benefits from that, each of the service provider, you're getting that. Optimize your cost. So you can, whatever workload you are having in, basically, you are taking the benefit of that cloud from that particular cloud. Okay, resilience, no downtime in case CSP outages. So completely AWS is not working. In that case, Azure is working maybe. Okay, so in case your CSP is outages, your CSP is not working at all. In that case, due to some issue, that means Azure is working, or some maybe GCP is working. In that case, you are not going to lose your customer in that case. So for the sake of availability, you can keep your applications across the vendors. That is also, and no lock-in. That means if you are uploading your application only on AWS, that means you are locked to the AWS. So when you go with the multi-cloud strategy, so you are not locking yourself for any of the specific CSPs. Basically. So this is very much available. Okay, so lock-in is not there. Ideally, when you have a specific CSP, that means only that services you are using it, right? So it is not that way. Okay, so any questions on this multi-cloud strategy? Some people, big organizations, basically going for the multi-cloud strategy.
Sir,
No
like
question.
how people collaborate with each other? Like अगर AWS में कोई service down हो गई by chance,
Okay, okay.
तो कैसे collaboration कैसे होगा वो लोग? मतलब integration जो भी बोलते हैं.
Okay. As I understood from your question, suppose AWS में कोई service down है, right? That is what you are saying.
Yes.
Yeah. So in that case, AWS, so we have uploaded the application in Azure also. So if AWS में कोई service down है, तो AWS में similar kind of services are there. Very similar kind of services. So you can upload the application into that service. For an example, in AWS, we have EC2 instances, whereas in Azure, we have the virtual machine instances. So that is what we can do. Okay,
Sir,
and
लेकिन
then
उससे costing बढ़ जाएगी ना?
हाँ, costing बढ़ जाएगी, right? That is right. That's the reason I told you, big organizations, not the small one or medium one, but big organization, they are always going with a multi-cloud strategy because of the high availability. Costing, of course, बढ़ जाएगी. It is not like very similar. I will take you through the costing also. Okay, but at least your application is available and then accessed by the customer. That is what is the important is. And costing for the AWS and Azure, they are very similar because they are into the competition. Okay, so virtual machine for AWS has X costing. So on Azure also, it will be the same costing, more or less same costing. It will not be very high. Now I will take you to this. Okay. So first, just let us consider the availability. this is your AWS, and at this point of I will take only AWS and Azure. This is AWS. Okay, so you have one machine. You have one machine. Okay, and then you have one more machine. Okay, and then okay, this. This is a load balancer. This is okay. I will tell this is VM1. Okay, and this is another VM. Okay, and then now okay, and similarly, again, and this is exposed to the outside world, right? This is exposed to the outside world. Okay, so this is the setup we have for AWS. Suppose this is two virtual machines we have. Suppose something happens to the one virtual machine. So another virtual machine is available, and then it will able to give that to the outer world applications through the load balancer. And think of that this is availability zone 1. I will tell you what is the availability zone, not now, but think of that within the data center, we have some area. Okay, and then this is the availability zone 2. Okay, so within the availability zone, you have one or more than one data center. Okay, okay. So now, if something happens to this virtual machine, still your another machine is working and everything is working fine. Okay, so still you are able to fulfill the requirement of customer. So this is specifically for the AWS. But suppose if something happens to AWS itself, then that time you will be having the similar kind of setup to the Azure. Okay, so this is what we should be having. Okay, and then you're talking about the integration. So integration data will be like this. Where is the data? Data. Yes, this is the data. So this is your data. Data. Okay. Okay. And then this data. Here you are the data. And this data and that data is replicated. Okay, so this data and that data is replicated. So that is how it's going to happen. So in case your AWS is not working by because of some reason, your Azure is working, and then again your application is up and running. Okay, got the concept, guys? So that's the reason you have multi-cloud strategy here. So AWS definitely they will work it, but in case any problem or issue, Azure is there available, or maybe Azure is not working, your AWS is working absolutely. So that is availability concept. Is it fine, guys?
Sure.
Okay. So moving to the next slide. Now we'll be talking about the machines versus virtual machines plus containers. Okay. Okay. Have you heard about containers?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Containers.
Yes.
You want containers, right? Correct. Okay. So which application you developed on containers, guys? Which kind of applications are suitable for containers? See here in the diagram also. So Java container, .NET container. So this is already there. But
When a
what
single
which kind of application is suitable for them? Yeah, you are telling something? Who's there?
Yeah, so when a single application is linked to another applications also.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Utkasha, what is your observation?
So I have no idea about containers.
Pardon? Your like
I
your
have
voice
no
is
idea
very
about containers.
okay. Okay. Sandesh, what is your observation?
So about container or what?
So basically, my question is, what kind of applications are suitable for containers?
Uh, I only heard about container in Java. I so forgot the
Okay,
container.
no worries, no worries.
Java we
How
have
about you,
heard.
Kamlesh?
So microservices, Java में पढ़ा था.
Correct, correct, correct. So microservices-based applications are very suitable for the container. So when you talk about the microservices, that time applications are divided into the small chunks, and they have their own technology. They have their own databases, storage, and all. So that is there always, and then you can do the communication with this microservices. Okay, so as I can see, microservice principles. Quickly, I'll take you to that. It's not in the course, but just for your sake of knowledge. So microservices principles, single concern microservices. That means each microservices will fulfill the single function. Okay, and then discrete microservices boundaries. That means they microservices are led by their own boundaries. Okay, so and then transportable microservices, you can able to transform from one container to another container. Then fourth one is the carry its own data. So microservices will have their own data and inherently ephemeral. That means it is maybe temporary or permanent. You can able to move that from one container to another container. And then above and all, it will have their own technology. So when we talk about here, so it can have a .NET container, it can have a Java container, it can have something different. Okay, so that is about the containers. Before that, what is a machine? you have guys have the physical machines, right? Correct. You are operating from laptops, guys.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Yes.
So you are working from laptop, and then similarly for machines, I think we had discussed this in first lecture, right? So we have virtualization softwares available. Okay, and in the virtualized softwares, we are like, and I designed a diagram also that time. I don't know whether you're there or not, but in that physical machine will divide it into the virtual machines. Okay, so physical machine means a single physical hardware system. Physical hardware, physical. This is a physically. That means RAM, storage, everything is physically comes in. And but when you talk about the virtual machine, basically you are sharing the resources, okay, of the compute resources. So this is the physical machine, traditional server architecture. Then comes the application A and application B specifically as a part of virtualization. Here you have the Linux, you have the Windows, and then you can have a Java.NET. That way it can be okay. And then this virtualized basically will have an application. But the thing is, very importantly, you have the operating system here. Think of that. Correct. Here also you have the operating system. Correct. This is the operating system. This is the operating system. Operating system most of the time is heavy. They are heavy basically. And then some of the components for .NET where the .NET will run, and then application sits on top of that. Okay. This is a virtual machine, but virtual machine is very similar to the physical machines. I have virtual machines. Maybe yes. So this is a virtual box. Okay. You guys can able to see this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
See, in the this virtual box, I have two operating systems. One is a Windows XP, which normally we don't have it in our machine, and then Windows 7. So my machine is Windows 10 machine. So in Windows 10 machine, I am running Windows XP, and then I am running Windows 7. You want to see if I'm running able to run XP. Just this is an example, guys. This may not be true in your cloud environment. Now Windows XP is running it. Okay. So in the Windows XP, some specific softwares are there, right? So for an example, Visual Basic. It's very old software, guys. Very old. 6 is old. So I'm trying to run that, which is not possible through this operating system. Why? Because this operating system, my host operating system is a 64-bit machine, whereas this is 16-bit operating system. So that is what I'm taking benefit of the virtual machine. So now I'm closing down this, turn off computer. Okay. And then okay. So that is how we are doing it. Similarly, this is virtual machine, guys. Okay, so this is a virtual machine basically. But what is the containers now? So containers basically they have, of course, they have the operating systems. They have the operating systems, but on a container level, they don't have operating system. Where if you can see here on a virtualization, we have multiple operating systems available. But here we have only one operating system, this which is specific to the virtual machines or physical machines, one only. But apart from that, we don't have operating system at all. Only we have some libraries, and on which basis, on which we are running the application. Basically. So basically, when we talk about the containers are lightweight package of your application code together with the dependency. That's it. There is no operating system involved in that. Okay. The benefits: less overhead, increased portability. From one container to another container, we can move it. More consistent operation, greater efficiency, better application development life cycle. Okay. So just wanted to ask you guys. So maybe you heard about the containers, right? What is a tool available for containers, operating on the containers? Hello. Any ideas? You heard of that, guys? Hello.
No,
No, you didn't heard of that?
no.
Sandesh, you heard of this already?
Yes,
Docker.
sir, I heard about container, but I can't reminder what
Okay, okay,
tool I heard in container
okay,
in
okay,
Java,
okay,
.NET.
okay. So Docker basically is a container management system. You heard of Docker? Docker is a very, very popular word, right? Docker is a very popular word.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Then you heard about Kubernetes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Um, then there is a one similar with the Kubernetes. We have Docker Swarm also. Okay. Then in each of the cloud service provider, we have a Kubernetes implementation. Okay. That means Amazon Elastic Kubernetes Services, that is EKS. You can able to see my screen, right? So let us talk with the EKS. EKS. So Amazon manage Kubernetes services. So this is there available, basically. Even on Azure, we have AKS. On Google, we have GKS. So Google Kubernetes services, Azure Kubernetes services we have. Okay, so that is there available, guys. So Kubernetes is very important, and then another is a Docker. So this is a containerized service. Okay, so you can go here maybe. Docker Hub. Docker Hub basically where you can have multiple container images, container images library basically. Suppose you want to have for in Nginx. Okay. Nginx, get it started. So this basically you can take it from the Docker. Okay. So this images you can Nginx you can take it from the Docker and implement it in your hardware, any hardware. Basically. So that is you can do it. So this is about the containers, guys. So next we will be talking about CSPs and then we'll be talking about AWS and all. Definitely we'll talk more about that. But what my request is, guys, to go through the internet and then try to read it. What I'm teaching in actually. Take the topics out and then find that the same topic on the internet and try to read it. So you have maybe have some clarity on that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions or anything you wanted to ask me? No questions? Okay, guys. We'll meet tomorrow again. Same time, 9 o'clock.
Okay, sir. Bye.
Okay,
Sir,
thank
sir, one question.
Yeah, please.
वो जो मल्टी क्लाउड वाला था उसमें हम ऐसे AWS की एक सर्विस और Azure की कोई और डिफरेंट सर्विस ऐसे यूज कर सकते हैं क्या?
Yes, absolutely right. Absolutely right. So suppose this is what we have. Okay. This is additionally we can use it. And then very interestingly, you can have like this. One second. Okay, I will change this color. Okay. So this virtual machine is accessing this, and whereas okay, and then this virtual machine will access this. This is very much possible. Why? Because this storage account has a public endpoint. That means publicly it is accessible. So for this Azure, this is simple and easy. As far as for AWS, this is also simple and easy. Why? Because it is publicly accessible. Okay.
So these configuration are done in Route 53 or like?
Route 53 is not. Okay. So this configuration, this will happen on, this is for an example, storage services. Okay. So this is publicly available, first of all. So in this is I'm talking about the Azure. Okay. So in Azure, storage services called as a storage service. Okay. And then this is publicly exposed. This is publicly exposed.
Okay.
And then for we need to this virtual machine and this virtual machine, we need to we can talk it here directly. So there is no route 53 available. Route 53 will reside somewhere here. Route 53 will be somewhere here. So this is your route 53. DNS level entry.
Okay.
So route 53 is something here.
Okay, outside.
And then public will access to this. This is your public. This is your public. Okay. So see, that's when you have the storage account mentioned, that time you can specify that whether it is a private or it's a public. Okay. So that way you can manage always. And when this is available, you can access from here or you can access from here also. Both the options are available. Or even if even it is not publicly accessible, you can mention that this IP only will access this. So this will have a public IP. This will have a public IP. So both the machines will have a public IP. This machine as well as this machine. So they will access to this. So when I will have a storage account, that time I will mention that this public IP is allowed. And for this public IP is allowed. So this is also possible. Okay?
Okay, yeah, understood.
Understood? So I will okay. In the chat, I can give this, right? This is chat. Where is the chat? Chat. I don't know where is the chat. Chatting is there available in this?
No, not here, sir. Like about,
Okay.
about
What
that.
I'll do, I will send this to maybe WhatsApp. I will send it directly. No worries. Just now I will send it.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.